Now on CoastTV News.
Lewes honoring Paul Reveres by shining lights.
We must remember what's happened in the past.
The latest from the man deported from Maryland to El Salvador. Tariffs on toys.
There's not a lot made in the USA anymore.
Local shopping, the pressure.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
2 lights for tomorrow. Lewes celebrating the anniversary of Paul Reveres' Midnight Ride with a special initiative. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight in downtown Lewes. That's where you could see 2 lights coming from one's home. The Delaware 250 organization has had a special weekend planned to celebrate the 250th anniversary of Paul Reveres' Midnight Ride during the Revolutionary War. The Delaware 250 group is asking people in Lewes to put 2 lights in their windows to commemorate the day. And as CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, people in Lewes, they're getting on board.
Here's a house already taking part in this by shining 2 lights of their own. Janet Kennedy was born and raised in Lewes. She tells CoastTV this initiative is special for both the community and the history.
I think it's exciting, and it certainly should bring back why it was there, you know, with Paul Revere and our country starting. And it's wonderful. I'm glad to see this kind of thing happening, and I'd like to see more of it, actually. I think we all need to be reminded how special and lucky we are.
According to Delaware 250's coordinator Margaret Hughes, by shining 2 lights and participating in a day of service, Delawareans are, quote, showing their commitment to community and a brighter future for all, end quote. Marty Rosenzweig lives in Lewes and was even dressed the part for the special weekend. He even took the time to teach local Sandra D. Burke more about it.
Just celebrating our history, and I think that's what's important.
Absolutely, that as well.
So remembering.
We must remember what's happened in the past.
The festivities will continue here in Lewes tomorrow, and according to the City of Lewes website, there's a community bonfire planned at Savannah Beach from 4 to 6 p.m. Reporting in Lewes, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
Thank you, Brendan. More on that bonfire to celebrate Paul Revere. It's happening tomorrow night in Lewes, and Savannah Beach lot will be reserved to accommodate that city-sponsored community bonfire, and that's from 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. BB Healthcare and the Cape Henlopen School District are teaming up again to fight teen substance use. They're hosting a parent and family education event on Wednesday, April 30th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Cape Henlopen High School. The session will cover current trends, risk to teen health and brain development, and how families can talk openly about substance use. The event is free and open to the public, and no RSVP is required. Happening right now, we are expecting the arrival of a crane at BB's Rollins Lewes campus. Here is the impact it could have on drivers in the area of Savannah Road. According to BB, starting just at 8 p.m. a few hours ago, the patient drop-off and pickup circle will be closed at the east entrance. The exit lane leading to Savannah Road will also be closed, and all lanes will reopen at approximately 4 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, April 19th. And we're now taking a live look into Ocean City. We bring in our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono, to look at the weather. Chris, a good day today, and we're expecting much more of that this Easter weekend.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was a picture-perfect day, and it's going to get even warmer as we begin our Easter weekend here on Delmarva. In fact, it's going to feel quite summer-like tomorrow. Look at these temperatures today as far as highs go. 74 Georgetown. We were at 73 for a high in Salisbury, 72 in Cambridge. The cool spot, 63 in Ocean City. Right now, we are quite mild for this time of night. 66 in Rehoboth Beach. We're at 65 Georgetown and 65 in Seaford. Clear skies in Milford. We're at 67. Temperatures not falling off all that much overnight. We're going to fall into the lower to mid-60s as clouds increase. What's going to be happening is a warm front is going to be lifting through the region overnight, and this cold front back off to the west. We don't have to worry about that until tomorrow night, and then that's going to cool things down a little bit into Easter Sunday. So our Saturday looks spectacular. Temperatures in the lower to mid-80s, breezy. Easter Sunday features more clouds than sun, but all together, not that bad of a day with temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Doing any Easter egg hunts tomorrow? We are looking pretty good. Break out the shorts and short sleeve shirts because temperatures are going to be rising into the lower to mid 80s. We'll talk more about your Easter weekend and when we may see some unsettled weather roll back into the picture coming up. Brandon?
Thank you, Chris. Now to a developing story of what reportedly happened at the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. It has sparked debate in southern Delaware. For local organizations, it has sparked new ideas. Local racial justice organizations are rallying after learning about this hate crime. The organizations say they are working to seek justice and educate the public on why a noose is never a joke.
Jay Droney and Jordan Hastings face felony hate crime charges after Delaware State Police say they chased a black employee with a noose at the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. Their actions are pushing local racial justice organizations like Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice to speak up and speak out.
These people should go to jail for what they did.
Joseph Lawson is the executive director for the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice and says he expects more from the fire department as they try to move forward.
Some intense educational, informational reviews with their people to let them know that whatever the roots of the thinking was that led to this, they're wrong and not acceptable, and they're based in ignorance.
In a statement released on Wednesday, the Millville Volunteer Fire Company says, quote, "Moving forward, we will be implementing a harassment/discrimination prevention and reporting training program for officers, supervisors, employees, and members as soon as practical." Lawson says he understands firsthand what the threat of a noose and a symbol affiliated with lynching can do to the black community.
My great-grandmother owned enough land so it would cover the entire city of Rehoboth Beach, and she lost it all when a lynch mob came for our family.
Lawson says the alliance is ready to work and make sure this does not happen again.
We want to get everybody in the community engaged to say, not here, not in our town.
In the fire department statement, it says additionally, an immediate review of current policies is underway and will be updated accordingly.
Lawson says the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice will reach out to the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. And according to court documents, the victim did not bring the issue to the department's attention because of what he said, quote, did not want to cause any problems, end quote. But it did get brought up after April 9th. That is when the victim got to work and people began talking about how Droney wrote a letter to the newspaper and department alleging that the department was doing a lot of suspicious things. According to documents, the victim then stated, quote, "What about all the things Jay has done to me?" end quote, which led to the fire department leadership being notified. We have the court documents in the entirety, including exactly what detectives say the men said to the victim, all on our website, CoastTV.com. A controversial end-of-life bill appears to be back on track to become law after narrowly passing in the state Senate yesterday. House Bill 140 would give mentally capable, terminally ill adults with 6 months or less to live the option to request medication to end their lives. Opponents argue the safeguards are not strong enough and could put vulnerable populations at risk. Supporters say the bill is long overdue, giving patients dignity and control in their final days.
I think we do have a lot of safeguards in this bill, and I think it's exactly what people need to give them control over their last days.
This bill now heads to Governor Matt Meyer's desk, and a spokesperson says the governor will sign this bill into law. If he does, the legislation will take effect immediately in the first state. If you live in Georgetown or drink water in Georgetown, listen up. The Georgetown Water Department will begin flushing the entire water system on Monday, April 21st in Ward 1. You may experience discoloration in your water, but note it does not affect the safety of the water. The town says if you do see some discoloration, to run the faucets for a few minutes to clear the pipes. Now tonight, the White House continues to insist a Salvadorian immigrant who was living in Maryland is not coming back to the U.S. Last night, a Democratic senator had a surprise meeting with the man at the center of policy and politics firestorm. NBC's Melanie Zanoni reports from Washington.
Tonight, the Trump administration resolute that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not coming back to the United States, despite a Supreme Court order to facilitate his return from a notorious El Salvador prison. The White House posting this taunt on social media, directed at Senator Chris Van Hollen, who met with Abrego Garcia Thursday night and posted this picture of the meeting.
It's also important that people understand this case is not just about one man. It's about protecting the constitutional rights of everybody who resides in the United States of America.
Yes! On Truth Social, President Trump said the senator, quote, looked like a fool, insisting Friday voters approve of his immigration actions, which are facing several challenges in court.
We're getting him out, and that's why I was elected. A judge wasn't elected to do that. I was elected to do that.
The White House claims Abrego Garcia was a member of the violent MS-13 gang, citing police reports. His family denies that. Abrego Garcia has no criminal convictions in the U.S. or El Salvador. His wife, overjoyed to see new images of him.
The most important thing for me, my children, his mom, his brother, his sibling, was to see him alive, and we saw him alive.
A federal court Thursday ordered the White House to, quote, take all steps to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return, further stating that the government's unwillingness to bring Abrego Garcia back should be shocking, not only to judges, but to the intuitive sense of liberty that Americans far removed from courthouses still hold dear.
This is not about him per se. It is about adhering to our processes, and due process is embedded in the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The Trump administration maintains the matter is out of their hands.
I think we removed the bad guy from this country who was down at home in the custody of his country.
El Salvador's president writing, he's getting the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody.
In that court ruling against the Trump administration yesterday, Judge Harvey Wilkinson wrote, regardless of whether Abrego Garcia is a gang member, he is still entitled to due process. And we're now going to take a look at our CoastTV News poll, and we want to know, how would higher toy prices affect you? Let's take a look at the updated results from our 6 p.m. news hours. So far, a 73% on no big impact and 21% say buy fewer toys. And we actually have a comment tonight, and we're going to take a look at that. Kathleen of Lewes says, as a grandma, you take pride in being able to give toys to your grandchildren or other. Cost makes a big difference. Out of pride, you don't want to have to resort to buying secondhand, especially now when families are having to cut back because of increasing prices on everything. And if you haven't voted yet, you can still vote on our CoastTV mobile app or on our website. We are just getting started here on CoastTV News at 11. We have an update on the tragic shooting that took place at Florida State University.
Well, we are shaping up to be a pretty nice start to the weekend in both Cambridge and Crisfield, near the lower 80s in Cambridge. A bit cooler in Crisfield with that water coming off the bay. We'll top out in the lower to mid 70s. We'll talk about the rest of your Easter weekend ahead, coming up my full 7-day forecast.
There's history, holidays, and a whole lot of fun on the calendar this weekend, so stay tuned for your cool things to do.
There's something in the air this weekend, and it's not just pollen. It's excitement, history, and beach town buzz. Here's CoastTV News anchor Christina DiRobertis with your cool things to do.
Well, it's one of those weekends where there's something happening just about everywhere you look here on Delmarva. So let's start in Dewey Beach, where the annual Egg Scoop kicks off Saturday at 10:45 a.m. There's going to be egg hunts for all ages, yes, even adults, and don't head out too soon because the Dewey Dogs Easter Parade follows right after. In Bethany Beach, it's Bunny Palooza. The annual 5K and walk steps off at 8 a.m. Saturday, raising money for local grants, scholarships, and programs that support neighbors in need. And that's not all the Easter fun this weekend. In Lewes, there's the Easter Bunny Bonanza. It brings egg hunts, and a bunny arrival by boat at Canal Front Park Saturday morning. Chincoteague's Easter Decoy and Art Festival returns for its 44th year Friday and Saturday, celebrating local art and tradition. And over in Berlin, a spring celebration Saturday with breakfast, egg hunts, and the Easter Bonnet Parade. Also this weekend, Lewes is getting a jump on celebrating America's 250th birthday. The city kicks things off this weekend with an event honoring Paul Reveres' famous midnight ride when he warned the British are coming back in April 1775. You can enjoy a free community bonfire from 4 to 6 Saturday on Savannah Beach. And looking ahead to Monday, you can join CoastTV Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for a fundraising event at Nicola Pizza. Proceeds will benefit the Walk for Prostate Cancer, plus a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. For event details, tickets, and more, just head over to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
It is a breezy, mild night on Delmarva as we kick off the Easter weekend. Ocean City right now, we are holding in the lower 60s and temperatures not falling off all that much overnight with the increasing clouds. We're going to keep that heat in play. And check this out. This is a sign that things are quite warm at 11 o'clock at night. 22 degrees warmer in Salisbury than this time 24 hours ago, and we are 21 degrees warmer in Georgetown. So it is quite mild out there. We're holding at 66 in Rehoboth, 65 Milton, 64 Delmar, and 64 in Seaford. You can see those winds out of the southwest gusting upwards of 24 at Indian River, Bethany Beach, 26 in Ocean City. High today, 74 degrees after a morning low of 37. The average 67. Look at the record, 90 degrees set back in 1976. So it can get quite hot this time of year, as you know. What else you might know is the pollen is quite high. That tree pollen is indeed pretty bad. Oak, the ash, and the birch, and it's going to continue to be high through, unfortunately, over the weekend. Now, we have small craft advisories up for the Delaware coast. Those run through 2 a.m. Further to the south from Ocean City through Chincoteague, those run through 1 a.m. And then along the bay side, those will be up through midnight. On Sunday. We could see some gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour. So that warm front's lifting through to the north. We are free of any rain. You can see the rain kind of running along the periphery of this ridge. And this front going to produce some severe weather out here across the plains, but that front's going to be pushing through tomorrow night. We keep the rain chances virtually zero through the weekend. We'll see them increase Monday night. So your Easter weekend shaping up to be quite summer-like. Highs in the low to mid 80s. We're going to see temperatures in the low to mid 70s into Sunday as that cold front passes through. So all in all, a spectacular Easter weekend. Now highs tomorrow. Anywhere from 83 in Milford. We'll see 80 in Lewes. Temperatures in the Eastern Shore, 81 in Cambridge, 82 Easton. Winds out of the south, anywhere between about 10 to 25. 83 Salisbury, cool spot, 75 in Crisfield. So there's the mix of sun and clouds throughout your Saturday morning. By the afternoon, we are cooking in those low 80s across the inland and at the coast. I think we'll see mid to upper 70s Ocean City, the warmer beaches, Lewes and Rehoboth. As we go into Sunday night, watch that cold front come through. See the northerly winds. We'll wake up to some clouds on Sunday, but I do think we'll see breaks of sunshine in the afternoon, warming us into the lower 70s interior, a bit cooler at the coast in the 50s. So notice the winds tomorrow afternoon out of the southwest, gusting upwards of 30, 35 miles an hour. As the front passes through Saturday night, we see more of a northerly wind kick in, and that's going to allow for more cloud cover. It's going to be a dry front, but temperatures drop into the lower 70s into our Easter Sunday. And then that next front comes through Monday night into Tuesday, where we could see around us some scattered showers, but even that system doesn't look all that impressive. We're at 66 on Monday. More clouds than sun, 75 for Earth Day, and we're looking at temperatures holding in the low to mid 70s through most of next week.
Thank you, Chris. And we have an update on the Florida State University shooting. 2 people are dead and a sheriff's deputy's son is in custody after an active shooter was reported on Thursday. Victims have been identified as 57-year-old Robert Morales, who was working at FSU's dining coordinator, and Tira Chaba, a 45-year-old who was working for a campus vendor. Police have identified the suspect as Phoenix Eichner.
The suspect continues to receive treatment at one of our local hospitals. He did receive significant injuries in this event and will require a significant amount of time in that facility. Once he is released from that facility, he'll be taken to a local detention facility where he will face the charges up to and including first-degree murder.
Coming up, tariffs on toys, why some parents are worried about Christmas in April. And in sports, we see how this athlete's training to raise the bar on and off the field.
And I know there's going to be a lot of golf going on this holiday weekend, and it's going to be pretty nice tomorrow. Mild start, 65 at around 8 a.m. We're going to top out in the lower to mid 80s. A bit breezy out there with gusts up to 35 miles an hour. We'll look at that 10-day forecast here in just a little bit.
We've shown you how tariffs are hurting candy, countertops, and electronics. Today, we're talking toys. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken spoke with one store that says they were planning for this.
Misha Cosetto owns several businesses in Sussex County. She stocked up when tariffs went into effect.
We took very heavy in early this year, just to be prepared and to be covered. But I'm also finding a lot of my vendors, since I pre-ordered, I did almost all my buying for the whole year in January. A lot of them are backing and holding their prices. They're eating the differences.
But still, Seto says she can't predict the long-term future.
In my gift shops, everything, all my stuff. I mean, there's not a lot made in the USA anymore. Cost of labor and different things, and it does affect all that here.
And not just gifts, but more than 75% of toys come from China, according to U.S. Commerce Department data. For parents like Kristen Angelucci, she says tariffs are scary.
I've already started to think about Christmas, and what are we going to do if the thing she wants most for Christmas is something that is 4 times what it would have been last year.
And she says it's tough to plan ahead.
The tricky thing as a parent is you can't get out of the way buying your kid what they're going to want 6 months or a year from now, because they don't know.
As toys like kites rise, so do concerns for some on the coast. For Coast TV News, I'm Emma Aiken.
Another interesting thing the owner mentioned to Emma, she says customers are starting to ask more questions about her products, whether here or at her clothing store, and customers are wondering where things come from. And she says some no longer want but to buy products made in China. Got gold? With prices higher than ever, some people are looking to make bank by selling their old jewelry. Linda Beccaro tells us about this modern-day gold rush.
There's gold in them necklaces and rings, and these days they add up to lots of money.
The price of gold is the highest it's been in the history of the planet Earth.
With an ounce of gold trading at more than $3,300 at closing yesterday, buying new pieces will cost you more. But at Dorico Jewelry in Scarsdale, there's another option.
You could turn the gold right into money right on the spot. Absolutely.
And you have people doing that?
We have people that do that, yes.
Dorico says people are cashing out the weight of jewelry, like this rope bracelet.
A piece like this weighs about 2.5 ounces.
You'll get the value minus fees. Or you can repurpose gold jewelry you've inherited or outgrown.
So we could take these old style earrings and bracelets and chunkier pieces that they're just not wearing today and recycling it and making all new, really cool, relevant designs.
With concerns over tariffs and market ups and downs, gold has long been considered a safe haven. Some consumers now choosing to invest in the precious metal.
Some people are putting money into gold and buying like half-ounce bars and 1-ounce bars. A lot of people are buying stocks.
Into the Trenches is back for its 3rd season. This year, we followed a Cape Penelope Vikings football team fresh off of their first state championship appearance in 40 years. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday, April 24th at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+. Staying in sports, this athlete looks to make a big impact on her soccer team in the fall, and that work starts in the off-season. DSN's Kayla Santiago shows us more.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, sports fans. This athlete is starting to take her training up a level as she prepares for the 2025 soccer season in the fall. Let's head over to Berlin, Maryland to meet this week's player profile sponsored by the Athlete Academy.
Addison McIntosh, soccer player at Stephen Decatur High School, came back to train at the Athlete Academy a few months ago. And for McIntosh, this training facility elevates her game on the soccer field.
It's been helping me with moving more off the ball and helping me with more of like the movement of running and just helping me be more aggressive on the field, like on and off the field too, and just being like helping me become a better player.
And the staff at the Athlete Academy makes all the difference.
More pushed in like a positive way to help us like reach like our maxes, and just like they know what we can and cannot do here, and like what can really help us with overcoming like challenges.
The Athlete Academy not only helps Addison, but also makes the Stephen Decatur girls soccer team even stronger.
A few other players and that come out work here, and that kind of really influenced me too to come here, and the team's been doing pretty good this year, and I think that next year they'll be even better with lots of girls coming to Athlete Academy and working out and getting stronger.
Best of luck to Addison McIntosh as she prepares to get ready for the fall season by training at the Athlete Academy. That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
You can start your Easter if you celebrate with our Sunrise Sermons 2025. Services begin at 7 a.m. on Coast Country, 9:30 a.m. on the Delmarva Sports Network, and 10:30 a.m. here on Coast TV.
And we are going to kick off our Easter weekend feeling quite summer-like tomorrow. 84 degrees. It's going to be a breezy afternoon. We could see winds gusting upwards of 30, 35 miles an hour. Now, a cold front's going to come through Saturday and this Sunday. A dry front, but we are going to cool down back to 74. All in all, not a bad Easter weekend. And we will see Carrie Williams here of Smyrna, Delaware. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella, and you get your forecast anytime by dialing our First Alert weather phone. Now, as we go into Monday, we're going to see more cloud cover with another front coming through. Could see a late shower or a rumble of thunder Monday into Tuesday, but next week shaping out to be pretty nice and pretty dry with temperatures generally in the mid-70s.
Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is up next. Me and Chris will see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great night.